Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Testimonial Thursday. This week on a Friday, we have some technical difficulties yesterday, but we are back live, and I'm super excited of today's interview because today we have Coach Tatum. She's been on the fitness industry for a long time. She's my coach on Orange Theory, and I'm super pumped to have her today. So I'm going to introduce her to all of you. Tatum!
Glad to be here.
So happy to have you here today. So I'm going to start like we start with everyone. I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you get into the personal trainer business.
Okay, awesome. Well, glad to be here. I am Tatum. I am a coach at Orange Theory. I've been a coach at the Orange Theory in Murfreesboro since the day their doors opened. So that was a little over 2 years ago. However, my fitness life started way before then. I feel like I started loving the fitness, exercising, the fitness world. Probably when I was in actually middle to high school. I was an athlete, a soccer player. So, and my mom, we were, she raised us to where we only pretty much ate out of her garden. So I grew up eating out of the garden. So us eating out was a luxury, and it didn't happen very often. I didn't have my first taste of Coke until I was in middle school, and I still hate it to this day. I just am a water drinker because my mom didn't allow it. Yeah, I was just a soccer player all the way through high school, and then I got a scholarship. And then in college is really where I got serious with exercising. But then I was a teacher. Was a teacher for elementary school, 1st and 4th grade. And then my youngest was born, and I had the opportunity to be a stay-at-home mom. And so I did. This was probably 10 years ago. And I decided on my home time to study to be a personal trainer. So I ended up training out through the Y. Long story short, I had great people in my life who, from being a personal trainer to boot camps, I ended up meeting a few celebrities. So I started training celebrities for about 3 years. And then actually, fun little fact with Orange Theory, the very first Orange Theory that opened Intimacy, which is in Brentwood, the owner called me out of the blue and was like, "Hey, have you ever heard of Orange Theory?" And I was like, "No." And she's like, "I'd like to interview you. I have heard about you. You should come interview." So I did. They gave me the job, but then I turned it down because my schedule was too busy with that time with the celebrities. And so I just said no. And I've always thought about Orange Theory. So when the one in Murfreesboro opened, I was like, I'm going to go check it out. So, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So which one has been one of the best celebrities that you train? Like when I say the best one, I mean they follow what you tell them and buy the book, everything.
I would say it'd be between two. One was the assistant for Kick Brooks. Have you heard of him? Brooks, who owns the Arrington vineyards. Brooks Kicks, and then a Nashville star. Do you remember the TV show Nashville?
No.
It was on one of the actresses on there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Hardcore. Yeah.
I like that.
Follow directions.
All right. So right now you have this integrated with your family too. How your family supports you on these of the healthy, following a healthy lifestyle.
Say that one more time. I think you cut out.
Oh, I'm sorry. How your family support you on these of living a healthy lifestyle?
Okay. Well, my husband, we're high school sweethearts. I always like to tell everyone he was my first and only kiss. So first and last kiss.
Nice.
been married for over 15 years, but he is definitely an athlete, but he never played like one sport. He was more of like a fan of me playing soccer my growing up or whatever. So he loved sports. He can do all sports. So I think that was just kind of like a foundation in our relationship. So he's always supported us or supported me in that. And then I think when age happens and you get older, he definitely jumped more on the wagon of, lifting, of cardio, of getting all of it in, probably about 10 years ago. And then, of course, our kids are super involved as well because that's all they know. Like I said, I was a personal trainer when my daughter was very young, just like 4 months old. So that's all they've ever known. So thankfully, we both, Cody, my husband, and I are both, it's just part of our daily life.
Mm, that's really cool. That's really cool. So we're going to go through the 7 questions that I ask everyone on Testimonial Thursday. So the first one is, what has been the biggest factor that helped you being successful?
I think it's an easy question. I think it was the right people in my life, and it may not have been planned, and it may not have been a person who was necessarily in my life for very long, but I always just had the right people in front of me to either help lead the way or just it was all about people who being a personal trainer can be difficult in a way especially if you want to do it on your own. And what led me to being a celebrity trainer was I was teaching boot camps at the YMCA, and this guy came up to me at the end of class, and he was like, "Wow, you remind me of Jillian Michaels." And I was like, "Oh, from The Biggest Loser." And he said, "Yeah, he was a finalist on The Biggest Loser." Oh. And so he partnered with me to start doing boot camps within our city parks. And so he actually is the one who gave my name to the first Orange Theory owner. Oh. And then another member who I was coaching knew a celebrity trainer who got me in contact with her. So there's just always been amazing people who always want to help uplift me. And so it's just been about other people pushing and motivating and, helping me through, through it. So it's just people.
Yeah. I think that's super important. And one of the reasons that I continue going back to Orange Theory is because of that. I go to Orange Theory and it does feel like a family. I feel like everyone cares about my journey and what I'm doing, and they're happy every time I do something crazy. I like to do crazy stuff, but yeah.
We love
it. So definitely, I love that. I love that. So which one are your daily habits?
So I always say start your morning off right, whether that be with encouragement, with encouraging words, thoughts, or action. So whether that be, of course, we have busy mornings. I have 2 kids, but starting it off right with I drink a full bottle of water every morning. I like coffee, but it's not my go-to. My first one is water. And I'm a huge breakfast eater. I believe in breakfast. Mm-hmm. Now, some people don't like breakfast, and I think that's okay too. I think whatever works for you. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people do intermittent fasting, and that's great too. Whatever works for you is what I believe in. So for me, we started off, my whole family, we eat breakfast. So starting the morning off right for us does include daily affirmations, a little bit of reading, some good worship music for us, and then just fueling our bodies to start us off right. And then for the most part, especially during these quarantine days, we get our workouts in pretty early, and we do it as a family. Even as a personal trainer, as a coach, every day I don't want to work out. However, when you have a supportive group, someone's always holding you accountable. So we usually try to, and that's usually my kids or my husband. So we try to get that workout in early. We try to be very intentional with what we do put in our bodies. So we are pretty aware for the day of what our meals will be. what our snacks will be. So it's a lot of planning. Maybe like on a Sunday, planning for the week, and just being intentional with what you put in your body and your movement throughout the day.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Definitely, that's one of my main things. I do practice intermittent fasting, but it's important that people know not what works for me, it's what works for everyone. Everyone have different needs, and they're gonna feel different. So that's something say, like in all the videos I have said the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, actually my husband did do intermittent fasting for a couple months last year, I guess the end of last year, and it worked great for him. He loved it. So, and it worked for his schedule at that time. He was traveling a lot at that time, so it just kind of worked well for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, whatever worked. People are like, what's the one right way? I'm like, there's not one way.
There's no one, exactly. There's no one size fit all.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, what mistake have you made along the way on your journey?
Oh gosh. You make so many. So I guess the mistake, I mean, there's so many multiple mistakes, I feel like. When I would say more immature as far as in the way I thought healthy should look. This was probably when, I would say I was probably about 20, I don't know. It was probably about 10 years ago. It was more of an immature way of thinking. Okay. And I tried to, I picked on it pretty quick of how healthy looks different on everybody. However, I just put a lot of pressure on myself because I had a title of a personal trainer. I had a title of a coach, of a leader, of a group fitness instructor. And so I preached grace and love to everyone else, but I definitely sometimes didn't do it to myself. I expected to look a certain way because that's how I thought people should envision me. So I got into bodybuilding and was actually really successful with it. I was a bikini in the bikini category for bodybuilding and did it for 3 years. And like I said, I always placed. It was great. I didn't know at the time how much of a mental struggle that was, or a hardship that was putting on myself. Because not only was I teaching everyone else, healthy looks different, I didn't show it because I was trying to look a certain way and be judged. So then whenever I got out of it, it took a toll on my body. And so I think my biggest mistake was not preaching to love yourself to everyone else, but not actually doing what I was preaching, if that makes sense. So since then I've gotten out of that, but it takes time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. That was something that we were talking at the beginning. I think that's one of the most important parts. It's not everyone looks the same way. So it's important that everyone knows that beauty looks different. It looks completely different. As long as you're feeling good and your self-esteem, it's where you have to be. That's the important part. So that's
absolutely
important. Yeah. All righty. Sounds good. And what has been the hardest decision you have ever made?
I think the hardest decision is probably something around the idea of consistency, waking up every day and making the choice to fighting for my family, for them to be healthy. I think it's the daily decision. My hardest decision is being consistent every single day. As you know, life, the running around, your kids, they just want to have a pizza, like just every day that it's worth battle a little bit and just staying consistent with it. I always tell clients, and I do tell myself this all the time, it's okay to fall off the wagon. Just don't stay off of it for very long. And so it's that daily of like, it would be so much easier right now if I just picked up this or if I didn't work out. So I think the hardest decision is just every day staying consistent and committed, not only for me, but for my husband and for my kids. So that way I can lead them to how I feel they should live their life too.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. I can see that being a constant battle every day, especially now being at home. want to cook. A pizza sounds good right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, convenient.
Yeah. So which one has been the best? Which one will be the best advice that you can give us?
Best advice is to start your journey no matter where you're at. This journey, and it looks different for every person. It doesn't matter if you've always been an athlete, if you have been overweight your entire life, if you've been one who has just always been super sure you want. That's not necessarily healthy. Best advice is to start now. Okay, to have bad days and fall off the wagon, just to get back on. But you can't control much in life at all, but you can control what you put into your body, and you control moving. That's all you got to do is get up and move. There's not a one way to work out. There's not one gym that works. It is about getting up, moving, and you choosing, a balance too. Living life great, but starting the journey as soon as you can. I always say starting over sucks. So if you are starting over, which I think a lot of people, they used to be, but they fell off, start today, and they'll never have to start back over. Like, just get going and try to stay as consistent as possible.
Awesome.
And simple.
Awesome.
Make it simple. I think everybody's like, what do I eat? What do I go back to the basics? So keep things simple.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Great advice. And the last one, if you could start all over again, what would you do differently?
I guess I would go back to what I said earlier from one of the questions is, which is probably everyone's problem too, is give yourself grace. How you, I think it says a lot to what you say to yourself in your head. Can you ever imagine saying that to someone out loud about them? So giving yourself grace and love, just like you tell everyone else to, how you preach, how you would want someone else to look at themselves. I always tell everyone you're your own hardest critic. But it's kind of hard to truly like embrace yourself if you're not speaking positively and loving yourself through it. So I think I would just go back to taking myself, or feeling like I've had to be a certain way because of my title, and just, giving myself more grace.
Yeah, definitely. All righty. Thank you very much for being here with us today. Hey,
you're welcome.
I think this was amazing today. Great tips on how to get started. That part of just go out there, move your body. It's super incredible, because not everyone is in the same place. And if you try to go on the same pace as someone else, it's never going to happen. Just start where you are and go from there. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for joining us today on this wonderful Friday. And I hope everyone have a great Friday and weekend. All right. Yeah. Bye. Thank you, everyone. Bye.